Okay, so welcome to all of you to this first session of Prelims Doctor. It's an innovative name, it's a thought-provoking name with the idea that we have seen over the span that with our own experience when we did our civil services, right, with multiple following that happened to the idea of civil services, the idea of prelims has been a major obstacle, right? And it shouldn't become an obstacle, it's just a qualifying exam. But it does become an obstacle, and that adds to a lot of mental agony, adds to a lot of difficulties because one prelims aglela, another it always keeps hurting. Right. So this program is exclusively designed to ensure there can be success in prelims. Obviously, we'll not tell that, look, you take the program and you will pass prelims and that. But it gives you a correct direction where you need to put effort in the right places and understand what is your plus minus so that you can do. Right. So to introduce Basuraj sir to you, Basuraj sir has somebody who has worked in this field of prelims. In the idea of overall civil services, his optional is mathematics, and that's something specific that we've always admired too. His effort in the subject is something that always we have been admiring as such, but specifically from the perspective of the prelims, right? How did we arrive at this name, Prelims Doctor? Right, over the last 2 years when he was guiding people in prelims, so his own good friends who are today in services as IPS officers and IS officers told him that someday when you launch this program, you should call it Prelims Doctor. So that's the idea that it comes from. So he's the real doctor who will ensure that he diagnose where you actually stand and how things are forward. Okay. So without much talking, allowing him to take over the session, right? Please make right understanding and effective use. This will be a crash course come test series program because the belief is it is not only about learning, but it also about unlearning. So what do you learn and how do you study? From a prelims perspective, how do you approach? Be it question-wise, be it topic-wise. When you study polity from a polity understanding, when you study history from a history understanding question, all this is something that he has done enough work over the years, and that's something he'll be delivering to you. So to those who are online and to those who are all of you here, wishing that this program is something that brings you success, also along with the program becoming successful. All the very best to all of you, and welcome once again over to Basuraj sir.
Good evening, everyone. So how many of you have already given the prelims? At least once. Okay, most of you. Right. So what is the purpose of prelims? Why UPSC has kept this stage? So what are questions will be here? Objective. So what do you mean by objective or objectivity? I think you would have studied in ethics paper somewhere. What is the meaning of objectivity? Something specific. Okay. So why this objectivity is needed for an administrator? Think from that perspective. Because you are going to be an administrator, correct? In whichever department it is. So you'll be handling some region, correct? You're the boss. So why do you need that objectivity? For decision making, okay? Decision making can be effective, ineffective, also good or bad, correct? Now, in prelim stage, whichever subject you read, whether geography, polity, constitution, anything. So for prelims, you have to only see the things which are specific. So this is the first point where most of the students miss. So let's say when you're reading something, let's say in geography, which are the things that are specific in geography? That means objective. Where, see, objectivity means it should be right, same for me also, for you also. Correct? So there should not be subjective things like opinions. Opinions are subjective. So all the subjective things that comes in your any subject, you should avoid actually for prelims. Only objective things you should read for prelims. Got it? See, similarly for the mains, there we need objectivity also plus subjectivity also, because you give your opinions in your answers. Correct? So this you should always keep in mind. For prelims, read the things which are objective. For example, in geography, you will read, so which are the tributaries of a particular river? They are objective, correct? Kaveri river has certain tributaries. Those tributaries are true for you also, for me also, same. They don't change, correct? So now, see, for the first time when you read any subject, you read from the knowledge perspective. You are there to get the knowledge, correct? But afterwards, when you read specifically for prelims, there you should cut short your studies. For example, now after at least 2 to 3 revisions that you have already done, if you have already done one prelims, correct? Now you should be able to read the complete book of geography or polity, anything, in 1 or 2 days. That's it. You should not take 1 week to read a particular book. Why? Because remember the formula, only read which are the things which are objective. Okay, and see all these objective things. For example, there can be nouns, names, correct? So, for example, a river name, a place name, a mountain name, or a constitution article, correct? So all these things you have to remember, and maybe years. When was IMF established? When was World Bank established? Or any organization? Correct. Now you have to remember all these things when you read. Nouns, years, name of organization, name of ministry, important percentages. Correct. Nowadays in prelims, you make mistakes only in those things. Correct. But the problem here is our mind is very limited. We cannot remember so many things. If you take history only, especially in ancient history, you have a lot of objective things. Nouns, kingdom names, king's name, their administration, cultural wise. Correct. So here, the difference comes here. You have to know your weaknesses and strengths, because every individual's mindset is very different. Some people can remember things easily. You would have observed among your surroundings itself, your friends. Someone will be good at retaining the things. For someone, even if you revise for 10 times also, he will not remember those things. Correct? Correct. So every individual human being is different. So that is the reality, and you should try to accept it first. Okay. So now, see, first try to understand the purpose of prelims for any administrator. For example, what an IAS or IPS officer do? Let's say if someone from World Bank has come here to give grants. So you have to pitch in there also. It's like a business idea. You have to get the grant of the World Bank. So for DC, he will give some pitch where he has to know his district, about the numbers, what is the population, what is the socio-economic background. Correct. So for that, he needs something which are objective. They are checking your objectivity through prelim stage. So he's checking objectivity in every subject, whether it is geography, constitution, economics, everything. So in every subject, he is checking your objectivity. Objectivity means in every subject, what is the things which are objective. For example, what is the meaning of republic? What is the meaning of republic? Because in UPSC now they are asking directly the definitions. So republic means it is same for you also, for me also. The definition doesn't change. Correct. So what do you mean by republic? Republic. Head of a state is elected. No, not the exact definition. Let's say now in Australia, head of the state is monarch. Now it is not queen. Okay, monarch. So then what is the meaning of republic? It doesn't mean that head of state is elected. So if you see Australia, the supreme power doesn't lie with the people itself. Correct. So the state or the nation where the supreme power should lie with those people itself, then it is republic. Correct. So he is expecting you to understand the objective things around you. That is the purpose of prelims. Okay. Now, so I've seen so many failures in this UPSC field, even putting hard work. So many examples, maybe senior, friends, so many people. Why? Why do we think so? What is the common trait that is missing here in this among the students? That's why the failure rate is more, at least in prelims. It's okay. Give random factors. Approach? Wrong approach. Okay. Fine. Then definitely if you take subject CSAT. Huh? Wrong analysis. Okay. Approach or analysis. Then okay. Not understanding UPSC. Okay. Pressure of the DD. Okay. Huh? Guidance is not sufficient. Okay. Okay. Huh? Lack of revision. Okay. Negative marking. That is same for everyone. It's a competitive field. Na? Like okay, fine. But anyway, if it is a competitive field, negative mark applies to everyone. So whether you are taking risk or not, that is up to you. Too many resources. Okay. Okay. Then lack of provision, lack of smart work. Okay. Then syllabus. Okay. Okay, fine. Now, so I'll try to integrate all of these things and tell you only one word. So people who are giving prelims, they should have clarity. So you have chaos around you, so you have less clarity. Okay. Now, see this statement. This is a statement given by Napoleon. So he is just saying that people who can do average thing when there is chaos around you. So this is exactly people who have already given prelims, you can experience or you can relate to it. When you sit in the exam hall, you're already losing your mind. Who can maintain that pressure, even though there is pressure above you, who can maintain that calmness and do at least average thing, he'll definitely clear prelims. This 100% with confidence I'm saying this. Only thing is here, how you maintain that strong attitude in the exam hall. This accounts to more than 50-60% of your success. Not only in UPSC, even in your life also. Okay. Now, let's see how this actually that pressure builds slowly. Now, what is the reason or what are the factors that are increasing your pressure or tension in the exam hall? You only analyze yourself and tell me. Recall. Okay. Confusion. Okay. Enough time. I think time is enough because and again it's competitive. See, 2 hours is given for you also, for the other person also. Okay. See, you are just analyzing it in the peripheral way. So even recall, confusion, you're just analyzing in the peripheral way. Go a little bit depth. See, even this is common for 99.9% of the people. What is happening? The confusion or not able to recall. It will happen for 99.9% of the people also. Don't think that it is only my problem. Even what I was saying, the initial few questions, if you don't get right, the tension will increase. That happened to the 99.9% of the people also. Conceptual clarity. Why this? Because you've already prepared for 1 year at least. Overthinking. Okay. Then what else? See, why? See, you just see, these are all, I believe, even the concept clarity, all these are the factors. But I still believe that you have some other factors that are running around you. Subconsciously, you are absorbing them. For example, in the preparation of yours, you will compare with others about studies, about performance, even during test series that institute arrange. Correct. If you get less marks here, you'll get that pressure. Subconsciously, it will builds. It builds over the period of time. Correct. So my suggestion is, whatever the things, the test series or the preparation that you do here, don't compare that to UPSC. UPSC exam condition or the paper is very different from any institute question paper. So in reality, no institute can reach the quality or that difficulty or randomness or the dynamics of UPSC. So if you want to understand the syllabus and the UPSC pattern or the mindset, you have to analyze the syllabus and the previous year questions of UPSC. Okay, so now losing the mind. So this you have already done before the actual prelims exam. The outcomes that you see in the actual exam is just the result of the things that you have been doing in the maybe last 6 months or 1 year. That is not related to knowledge also, your preparation also, and hard work also. This is mainly related to your mentality that you have built already before going to the exam hall. So that also you have to change. So this mentality, to change this mentality, you have to focus on skills. So you have to derive these skills from syllabus and previous year questions. So why this is important is, for example, when you sit in the UPSC prelims, so before the question paper comes only, you'll be shivering, correct? You'll have that, okay, what type of question will come? How will CSAT paper will be this time? You'll have n number of questions, correct? Why? Why? Because you haven't understood UPSC effectively. That usually give a correlation in school or college days. Let's say you have a next class is from your best teacher or professor. You'll be happy, correct? You'll be happy. Okay, at least next class will be this course or teacher's class. Correct. Why? You know that person. You know the characteristics of that professor or teacher. Correct. He'll not scold randomly. So there will be some characteristics which you like in that person, correct? Or you know that person well. That's why you enjoy that class. Here also, you understand UPSC better. You get close to UPSC. Then definitely you will not get that pressure when you sit in the exam hall. So to know UPSC means you have to understand the person who will set the question paper, right? His mindset you have to understand. So this is like you are building some mentality of your own to decode the mindset of the question paper setter. This is actually a mind game. Especially prelims. All prelims, mains, interview, all are mind games only. Only thing is you need different skill sets. Okay, so this is where, so most of the students, this is where they fail. So they are good at knowledge. Knowledge matlab you read everything. You have concept clarity also. But the thing is, let's say, why I'm saying this is, let's say 60% of the questions, let's say out of 100 questions, 60 questions, at least either you know the topic or you know the answer. Correct, in UPSC prelims. At least there will be 40 questions where you don't know the topic at all. Correct. See, only with 60 questions, if you attempt them, you will not clear the prelims. Because accuracy will not be 100% for sure. Not even 80-85%. So with that, you'll get at least less than 100 or less than 90 only. So to clear prelims, you have to attempt these questions, which you don't know, or at least know very minimal things. Okay, so to attempt these questions, this mind game is very important. Okay, okay, this also you try to remember. See, success is not related to hard work. Not all success is due to hard work. There is luck factor, and not all failure is due to laziness. Okay, because in UPSC field, after 1 or 2 years, we'll be scolding ourselves. We'll be having so much of burden. I'm lazy. I'm lazy. That comes. That guilt comes. So if that guilt is there, leave it. And you have to focus on the factors that are in your control. This is very important. And maybe this applies to your personal life also, because when you're sitting here, you're part of your personal life also, professional life also. I'm saying professional life means UPSC life here. So you have to focus on the factors that are in your control. So some factors will not be in your control. Circumstances. You have to leave it. Because even the philosophers, even the scientists, everyone agrees with this statement. If you waste time on the factors that are not at all in your control, you're just wasting your time. And you're fooling yourself. Okay. Okay. First, knowledge part. So I believe in this formula. That's why I'm discussing about this. So knowledge is important and the skills is important for excellence, not success. Correct. So here, excellence means when you sit in the prelims exam hall, when you come out and you are satisfied, I have enjoyed the paper. That is excellence. Success is a byproduct of excellence. Byproduct. It's not the direct product of your hard work and skills. Natural byproduct means when you have excellence, success is there. Correct. Now, knowledge. So here also, you may be experiencing some difficulties. So whether you have earned knowledge from books and all, is it the true knowledge for UPSC? That also you have to think. Are you doing the rote learning that you used to do in school or college days? See, there is a little bit of mug-up approach that applies here also, and that is for mains, to remember the facts or something like that. Okay, so here knowledge means you should have conceptual clarity on objective things, not subjective things. You'll have, for example, in newspaper, you'll have almost all in newspaper, you have more of subjective things like giving opinions on issues that are going around. Those are not important for prelims. Only the objective things, noun, if there is any noun, year. So those things are only important for prelims. And if there is any reason, correct. So for example, what is the reason behind earthquake, originating of earthquake? There is some reason which is objective, that you also agree with that and I'm also agreeing with that. So they will ask these type of questions only in prelims. Okay, so knowledge part, I believe most of you so this everyone, at least somewhere around 60 to 70% have already achieved this. when you do 1 year of preparation, you will have at least the basic knowledge about UPSC subjects. Okay, only thing is you need to refine those things. So that's why I have kept the crash course, which includes revision classes of every subject. Why? Because there is little bit of refinement in the knowledge part also. And also, I have to convey you what to read and what not to read. That's just, you said you have like too many resources in the UPSC field. Like you take Telegram daily, at least somewhere around 50 to 100 new PDFs will be uploaded from many institutes. And someone will say, this is good, you read it. Someone says, this is good, you read it. And if you don't revise it, that will be gone. Correct. So here, again I said, now you should have clarity here also. Which one you will refer? Only one source per subject. If you have time, you can read another source for history and current affairs. That's it. That is my suggestion. Stick to the only one source for one subject. And this should not have, I believe, more than, like, your content should be, for example, if you take economy, you have to read somewhere around 150 to 200 pages of content for prelims. That's it. So for example, you have Lakshmikant. How many pages it is there? 800. So in that 800, you have to at least, let's say, divided by 5. You have to read only this much of content out of 800 pages. Because an average human being can remember only this much. Let's say this into 6-7 subjects or 8 subjects, let's say. Even if you read 800 pages, at the end you will remember only this much. Correct. I think you have experienced already this one. So at the end you have to somewhere reduce the content to this much. Even 150 to 200 is more, I'm saying. So you'll be suddenly shocked. That's why I have written 200 pages. So what you should do, the one source that you read, on like every page, you have to just identify which are the things which are objective. Got it? You have to write somewhere where you get the space in the same page itself in your handwriting. For example, you read current affairs. Any article, for example, any scheme is there, new scheme is there. So let's take, if there is any scheme, under that, which are the things that are objective to that scheme? One, what is the purpose of the scheme? Then by which ministry? And maybe eligibility. Only these 3 things. But that article will have, let's say, 100 words. You don't need that much. So these 3 things you have to write in your own handwriting there. Okay, by this ministry. And that ministry also, I have the shortcuts. For example, if the purpose and the ministry are like correlating, if there is any scheme on agriculture or farmers, if it is by the agriculture ministry only, don't remember. Why do you remember? It is obvious. Agriculture or like upliftment of farmers is the purpose. Then it will be by the Ministry of Agriculture only. Why do you use your space extra to remember that? But some schemes will be there, where the purpose will be for farmers, but the ministry will be Ministry of S&T. Correct? There will be some schemes like that. When you have divergence, remember that. So use common sense. Why this thing happens? Because all the ministries, they fight for the fund. So this is practically happens. So they take it over because already you have allotted some funds to agriculture ministry. So we want this scheme, give it to ourselves. Why? Because maybe there can be technology aspect also. So remember the things which have divergence. So don't remember things which are obvious. Leave it. Okay, these are the tactics you have to use because you have to use your space in your mind, which is very limited, cautiously. Then only you will get that extra edge over others. Okay, so you have to have the clarity, one source per subject. Okay, if you have time, you can refer one more source for history. Given that because in history they're asking questions from so many things. But I suggest not to do that also, because you'll have confusion. Why I'm saying is, I think everyone of your mind works like this only. So when you read something, when you sit in the exam hall, when you want to recall that, your mind thinks in the maps kind of thing. You'll remember, okay, in which page of that book, oh, this was there. Your mind will go, or your thoughts will go there, correct? It's the same way how you recall things. I'm just asking because maybe there might have been different things, correct? Okay, so let's say you have read 2 books for history. So when, let's say, there is a question on Ryotwari system. So who started that system? So your mind thinks there will be 2 maps. To get into or to recall that information, it will be confused where to go. That's where you waste time. One, you will waste time and you will not have the clarity. Correct. Why? Because in one book, it will have a different font. This also actually matters subconsciously. Font. So this font is different. Okay, this is very important for subconscious mind. This is very important. This is one of the factor why you have that inherent fear related to UPSC font. I'll show you. This font is different, this font is different. When you see this paper, people who have already given prelims, this background, this font, you will have fear. Even if you see now also, you will have fear. Because our mind subconsciously has, okay, taken that font as, oh, this is UPSC font. Fear will come. That's why wherever I do the program or anywhere, I try to insist the institute to prepare the question paper with this font itself, so that that fear will be reduced subconsciously. So this is a strategy that all the sports personnel use. The people who win usually the Olympic medals, they prepare from this mindset. Okay. Okay, now skills. So see, subconsciously the skills part we have neglected. Okay, anyway. This skills part we have neglected because in school and college curriculum there was no skills at all. The orientation system is based on rote learning. In reality, you can debate on that, but 90%. That's why when you sit in the, let's say, campus interview, the question that they're asking is very different than what I've learned, because they're asking questions from skills perspective. Correct. And you have studied things from the knowledge perspective, theoretical. So here you have to learn the skills, and this is not like I teach you and you learn. Skills is always you understand, you experience, and you learn from your consistent effort. So that's why in this program I'll take the classes also, test series, you write test series, and I take individual one-to-one mentorship also. So in every step you have to learn skills based on subject, skills based on UPSC or the UPSC demand. So to understand that, first you try to absorb the syllabus and compare that with previous year questions. Okay, this is very important. Why? Because I told you have to understand the question paper's mindset, the person who sets the question paper, and this person will be a professor from some university. And I believe not only one person sets the question paper. Environment questions will be set by some professor who is close to that field, and they will have a committee. So if prelims exam is there, they'll form a committee. In the committee there will be professors from different fields. They'll set the question paper. So this person is a professor, means at least somewhere around 45 plus age. Okay, for him UPSC will give the syllabus and he will set the question paper based on previous year questions. Like he will see the question paper of the previous year, correct? Because he is not the person who is setting the question paper from 10 years. Every year they'll call a different person. Why? Because if you know that the same person is setting the question paper, then UPSC cannot be transparent. Okay, he can sell the questions to the students, right? So they will bring new professor every year, new professors. So they will see the previous year questions, like how the last year people have set the question paper. Based on that, they'll provide this year question paper. And for them also, these are the two things that are available, not anything else. Correct. So now they have the same resources. You also have the same resources. That's why I told you, don't refer to anything else. First you do this. Analyze these things. Try to decode what is going to come in this year. Maybe except your current affairs questions, let's say 75 to 80 questions are based on static subject only. You can try to decode what they can ask in this year. Correct? So this is a skill that I will also do through classes also. You have to do individually. Just by like coming to the classes and listening to what I'm saying will not build skill. You have to do it on your own. Come up with new ideas. I believe in that. I have certain, let's say, certain formulas. Okay, these things work, these things will not work. But some new ideas will also come when you try to analyze on your own. Then only you will understand, okay, how to build skills. Okay, let's say with previous set questions, practical examples, we'll try to see how you could have answered these questions. Okay, this is last year question. They're saying rapid financing instrument and rapid credit facility are related to the provisions of lending by which one of the following. Here, these two things are objective things, correct? They are nouns. Now, when you see this, first, you have to identify the term which can help you to get the answer. Here, what are the things that are common here in both the nouns? Huh? These two terms are common. Now, you see the option. See, when a nation or any organization needs rapid credit, rapid means instant loan that you say, instant personal loan in 20 seconds, 50 seconds, 1 minute. When people will need, leave the nation. When do you need rapid fund? During emergencies? Now, among the options, which organization deals with emergency situations? World Bank? See, here, that's what I said. These are all, again, objective things. You have to know, let's say, if you are reading World Bank, what are the objective things that you read about World Bank? When it was established, the year, what is the purpose? Maybe who is the present chief of that, correct? Is there any other things? Now, what is the purpose of World Bank? It is for infrastructure, correct? That's why World Bank gives long-term loans. This is common sense. This is not at all knowledge. And when you read it, try to read like this so that it doesn't require you to mug up. Correct? So World Bank gives loan for infrastructure projects. That's why always the World Bank loans will be long term, 25 years, 30 years, 50 years, 100 years. So this option is eliminated. Correct? So try to either, if you know that, okay, there is rapid, you know that during emergencies, and again, you try to compare. During 1991 economic crisis, who gave the loan? IMF only. That's it. You get the answer. You try to correlate like that. Here, don't overthink that environment UNEP. Why there should be rapid credit for environment related issues? Rapid means it is economic crisis, not correct, not environmental crisis. So here people will overthink. I know that. In the actual exam hall under the pressure, you feel that I know ADB, I know IMF, I know World Bank. This is looking like a very new thing. Maybe this is the answer. This is like overthinking. There is logic or common sense in this. This is, it looks easy when you see here. When you decode like this, it is easy here. But when you sit in the exam hall, that's why I said, you have already lost your mind. There'll be chaos around you. So there, to maintain this attitude or calmness is very difficult. If you can maintain that calmness, or if you are grounded in the exam hall, this is very easy. Or let's say, even if you apply this kind of common sense approach, even for let's say 10 questions or 20 questions, even if you get 40-50% answers right, definitely you have gained more than 10 marks. Okay. So this is and these are the questions you don't know. The question I said now 40 questions that you will not know anything. You have to attempt like this. And now you are getting like more questions which includes more than 4-5 statements. Okay, next. So they're giving 4 statements. Monazite is a source of rare earths. Monazite contains thorium. Monazite occurs naturally in the entire Indian coastal sands in India. In India, government bodies only can process or export monazite. Now, here try to see the things which are objective. Like who are saying, okay, this is the thing. They are saying here, entire Indian coastal sands. That means you have to get monazite in every coastal stretch. So here UPSC is using all these 3 things. Many words, for example, all, only. These are, or let's say all, the another word is entire. So when you see these kind of words, you have n number of these kind of words. When you analyze, you will only understand. So when you see these kind of words, you have to be cautious. And you will also have some of the words like can, may. So these are general words. Now, so you have entire here, you have only here, can also. So from common sense or logic, which one you can say this is right or this is wrong? 3 is wrong. Why? Fourth statement. Why? So why only rare earth can be commercial also? Other new technology. That's what. Why they are saying this will be only from government bodies? You have common sense, you have logic. Why? Misuse. See, he is saying monazite contains thorium, which you know is used in nuclear technology. if not government bodies, if you allow to someone else, then they can make it nuclear weapons. Correct? That's why it is done by government bodies only. You have to connect things here. This, see, if this statement is right, this statement should be right. So it is, they are saying these two, indirectly, these 2 statements are same. You have to just connect it. Correct? Or if you know that in the current affairs, in the last year, they have mentioned that it is found in the Kerala coast. If you know that fact, then you can say this is definitely wrong. Then directly you will arrive at the answer. But what happens in the exam hall, even if you studied there somewhere also, you'll be confused. Maybe entire question, maybe, I don't know. This will also happen. So when you read less, you think that I don't know this. Maybe this might be there. When you read heavily, then you think you'll be confused. I have seen this somewhere, but I don't have clarity. This happens for both the people who have studied less or studied more. Okay, so they see, I believe at least not for all the questions, at least around 80 to 85 questions, UPSC will leave some hint. And that hint looks like very easy when you come out of the exam hall. Why? Because in the exam hall you will be under pressure. You'll not be able to decode it there. Got it? They have some apps. Then, which of the following built on top of open source digital platforms? Now, here, what is a keyword here? Open source. Now, when you are reading, now let me, okay, tell me what is the meaning of open source? Access to what? Access to, everyone can access. Even the closed source software also, everyone can access the app, right? What is the meaning? Database? No. Huh? No. Let's say digital locker is there. If you can access another person's documents, then is it like you will? It is opposite of your fundamental rights, right? Then your meaning is wrong. So here, when you read some things, that's why I said objective things. You have seen this open source in your current affairs as in technology. You have seen this. There you have to understand what is it. What is it? What is open source? That's it. You don't need to even see the examples. You can apply the logic or common sense. At least for the engineering people, tech people, they'll know this. Open source means they will have a source code of that digital app or anything, software. Source code, that means the features of the software. You have the source code. You can add the features to that source code to improve the software. It's like a feedback. Correct? And if you know at least that part, if the software used by the community people, then definitely it will be open source. This is all the government is providing services. Correct? So there is community involved. And they want to improve the features also for the period of time. If you know at least the meaning of this and apply the common sense, you can answer it. Correct? So here you have to understand, okay, you have to first pick the keyword. What is the meaning of it? That's why now when you read something in current affairs also or in subject also, what is the objective word that is there? Just try to understand the meaning. That's it. Whatever the things that they give, you can answer it easily. So this is also again science and technology question. You know, software as a service. See, here saying SaaS buyers can customize the user interface and can change the data fields. So I told you the words like this, they make the statement general. It's a general statement. And why they give can? Because they are also not sure. And not sure matlab they cannot disprove it. They cannot say that it can't be. And especially science and technology, the research where the research is going on like on an everyday basis. If he says that it cannot be done, next day only scientists will do some research and say it can. Then his answer will be wrong. That's why to play the safe game, they give can be. Here also, can access their data through their mobile devices. And here, Outlook, Hotmail, and Yahoo Mail are forms of SaaS. He's saying R. R is a standard statement. Now, you try to see this and see that software as a service. What do you mean by software as a service? They're giving you their software as a service. What do you mean by service? No charge. It's not that no charge. People will charge nowadays. The meaning of service, what is service? Buy them or at least use their service. Let's say you give money to them to use their space, right? Cloud. Simple meaning, software as a service. You are using the software as a service. Outlook, Hotmail, Yahoo, these are mails, right? We use their service and their software, not hardware. Correct? Definitely be there. It is right. And especially for non-science background students, don't think that science technology is very difficult. It is common sense. If you don't know what is all this, try to divide the word or the sentence and try to get the meaning. And if it makes sense to you, that will be right. And especially for science background people, you will overthink for SNT questions. Definitely. This is like non-science background students will be here. They will have inherent fear. I don't know what is technology. Whereas technical people, they'll be overconfident. I know, but when this comes, overthink. Overthink, matlab, they will dive into the technology part. Try to answer it. Don't do it. These people should come here. These people should come here. In a neutral position, try to answer them. Got it? So this is very important for both the people, especially SNT questions. And last time also SNT questions were more than the previous year. See, some chemical name which you don't know, even like anyone. So these things will come somewhere from the current affairs, somewhere from any world organization or somewhere. They'll pick something. Try to see what it is. If you are a science background student, try to see if you can dissect it and try to find something. Since it is a very technical or chemical word, we don't know. Leave it. Now you see. So he's saying widespread in our daily lives. Widespread in our daily lives. That means we are using that somewhere in our household activities. You have to remember that. Its fibers can be blended with wool and cotton fibers to reinforce their properties. He is saying can be. It will be right. And you don't have extreme word like all, any, entire, extreme. Something like extreme statement word is not there. It will be right. Containers made of it can be used to store any alcoholic beverage. So he is using a general word and an extreme word. Any means any. Correct? Now, bottles made of it can be recycled into other products. Can be. So this will be right. Articles made of it can be easily disposed. So he's saying can be also easily disposed of by incineration without causing greenhouse gas emissions. He's saying without causing greenhouse gas emissions. So isn't it, this looks like extreme statement without, and he's saying easily. Nothing is easy. Correct? Incineration means what? Burning. See, that's what he say. See, he is using can be also, and he is using extreme words also. Here, he is making little bit tricky. That's why first you have to see the general words and the extreme words. For me, this looks like extreme statement without causing greenhouse gas emissions. If you have chemical, then see what is greenhouse gas emission. There can be methane also. It's very carbon dioxide also, or carbon monoxide also. At least one, at least something will be there, correct? And he extremely saying without and easily disposed. So for me, this looks like extreme statement or wrong statement. If you see the options, the answer will be easy because these are two are general statements. They should be right. That's it. And he doesn't have all the options also. So it will be easy. But what I'm saying is you have to see what is the tone of the question paper setter. Whether it is a very general, subtle, he is saying very subtle statement or very harsh or very extreme statement. You have to compare like that. That's what I'm saying. Questions or the topics that you don't know, you have to attempt like this only. For this, you need common sense and believe in your common sense. Two things. You need common sense, and common sense is common. Don't say like remember that movie sentences and all. Common sense is common. But the thing is, you need belief in your common sense. This is very important. People will not believe in their common sense. Thing is, you need to believe in your common sense and implement that in the exam hall. For that, you need confidence. This is again a name-based question. At least there will be 10 to 15 direct these kind of questions. A key word or the key term will be there, and what is the meaning? Now, what is the keyword here? Bio-rock. What do you mean by, like, if you divide the word bio-rock, what you will get? Bio means living being plus rock. Okay. Now, so try to see the statements which includes a living being and a rock. Restoration of damaged coral reefs. Coral reefs means coral polyps that we technically say, and reefs. So it includes your calcium, which is rock, and the animals, which are coral polyps. Correct? So this contains both living being and rock. Next, development of building materials using plant residues. Here also you have rock and residues, plant residues. But this is very, like, he made up that statement. You can easily say. Correct? And UPSC, first, I'll just say, first understand which are all there. Okay, here also, you have exploration extraction of shale gas. Shale gas means you have, shale gas actually that comes from the biological fossil fuels, correct? It actually involves the biological, but rock also for the extraction. So this has somewhere related to bio-rock also. That's why he has made such statements. Next, providing salt licks for wild animals in forest or protected area. Not so connecting. Here also you have salt licks means on the rock you have salt deposited that wild animals take. This is again a process. But now you think for UPSC, which topic is very important or which topic is hot? Coral reefs. Correct? That will be your answer. Because blindly I answer some of the questions. If you know, if it is something related and if it is a hot topic, that will be the answer. And for me, this has worked more than 80% of the times right only. You need, I said now, you need belief in your common sense. And you see, he will see this technology somewhere in the current affairs. how the question paper mindset will be there. I'll just maybe I have tried to analyze it. It's called visualization. But see, you'll see Byron technology somewhere in the current affairs. Oh, this looks good to ask a question. First, either he'll put, usually you can see this here question paper. This is not a formula, but the mistake that UPSC question paper setter is doing. He is putting most of these kind of answers in A only. You see, and this pattern is not recognized by me, my student, last time. That's why I'm saying, when you do it on your own, you will also understand, sir, this is the code. Okay, that he is using this pattern. So he told me that in 2021, this was the pattern, and he used it in 2022. He got 5 out of 5 correct. This is a pattern. This is not some rational thing. I'm saying the question paper setter is doing a mistake. So he said he is giving the answer in the first option itself. Then what he is doing? He is thinking, okay, via rock, I should frame the sentences or the points where I should include both living being should be there and rock should be there. So you see this. This looks like somewhere made statements, created ones. Development of building materials using plant residues. It doesn't look so organic, correct? All these statements, somewhere or the other, either created ones or she has searched those things somewhere and picked from there, which is related to either living beings and rock. This is how people set options. In some of the questions, at least 2 options will be very near. So there you will have confusion. Here maybe some people last time they're confused between this one and this one. Because why? Shale gas is also will be there in use, and coal will also be in use. This one, Government of India Act 1990. The functions of provincial government were divided into reserved and transfer subjects. Which of the following were treated as reserved subjects? What do you mean by reserved and transferred? Do you remember? Huh? Reserved means those powers will be with this is okay. Center. Then during 1919, British. Okay. Transfer means given to the state governments. Now, if you think now, that applies then also, now also. Just try to think. Somewhere, which are important for British? First, revenue. They want money. This is right. Then, police also, to maintain the power. Justice also. Local self-government. It is a headache. It is a headache for them, right? Local government means you have to come to village, or at that time they used to call thanas, or the local thing. So they cannot do that administration, right? It's a headache. Even government are considering that as a headache now also. This will not be there. It's common sense. If you understand broadly how government works, it is common sense. When you're reading also, you have to remember like this also. Why Britishers kept land revenue, police, justice with them? Don't mug up. Don't mug up the reserved subjects which were there. Logically, you try to connect those things, leave it. When you connect logically, you don't need to remember. Okay, these 2 questions have included just to say that from 2011 to 2020 or somewhere in that decade, UPSC used to focus more on cultural part in history and some of the innovative things in the history part. So this kind of pattern, which is very factual, who won over which kingdom, the very factual things which is related to war or administration, these things they used to ask before 2010 or in 1990s. So now they are asking again those things now. Now you have to focus on the more of factual part of history. Because last time, at least, I think when you are writing in the first or second prelims, you will read everything. But for the senior players, this part was difficult. Because people not remember the wars, all these things, very factual things. Now in history, you have to focus on these things also. Because in this decade, they'll ask more these kind of questions. They are repeating the cycle. That's it. These kind of questions they used to ask in 1990s and initial years of 2000. Now again they're asking after 15-20 years. This question I included because Banks Board Bureau, they've asked that same topic, I think in 2020 or 21. So analyzing the previous year questions helps you because they may ask the same topic again with different points. That's it. Okay, so this is next. So this is again a term-based question. So what do you mean by polar code? First he's saying it is the international code of safety for ships operating in polar waters. Simple. There is code here, there is polar here. There is code here, there is polar here. It is agreement of the countries around North Pole regarding the demarcation of their territories in the polar region. So he is saying only North Pole. And he is saying agreement. There is difference between code and agreement. Remember like that. If this is agreement, this is code, different. It's wrong. What do you mean by, let's say, there will be ethical code or code of conduct? What is the difference between code and agreement? Literal English. If you take literal English, what is the difference? Okay. Agreement is something which you agree for. Code is something, there is a code. And you don't have any punishment if you break that code. Got it? Ethical code will be there. It is just an reference. So if you know the difference between that, at least the minimal words, you can say this is wrong. It is a set of norms to be followed by the countries whose scientists undertake research studies in North Pole and South Pole. So usually researchers will go there, and only thing is you should not pollute that environment. Okay, and he is saying it's set of norms. It is a trade and security agreement of member countries of the Arctic Council. Again, it's saying only Arctic Council. That means North Pole and agreement. This is wrong. These two will be at least left out for the confusion. Here there is set of norms. Here there is code. Just see that which is more sensible to you. It is the International Code of Safety for ships operating in polar waters. Why? From the environmental perspective. Ships will pollute the environment. That is a hot topic for UPSC. And let's say researchers are going, they are educated, they not pollute. Common sense is there. Ships, they are commercial, they don't worry about environment. There is code. And leave all that. There is code, polar, go for it. This is what I said. When people around you are losing their mind, you have to be just average. Okay, next. Okay, CSAT. How many of you not clear CSAT last time? Why? And I think all of you are at least engineers or math background. No? Okay. Most of you are from science or math background only. Why? So people at least who have come to UPSC field now. So till 2014, they used to count your CSAT marks also for prelims cutoff. Till 2014. From 2015, they made it 33.33%. Correct? 1/3. That means 67 marks. Around. So when this was announced, people were very happy. 67 out of 200. Okay, I can do it. 2015, 2016, till 17, 18, 19, up to 19, they slowly start increasing the difficulty level. Because, I don't know, maybe UPSC is playing a game here. Slowly they are increasing the difficulty level so that people will not understand it. From 2020, they have started exponentially increasing the difficulty. Now, somewhere UPSC is playing a game and students are falling for it. Why? Because when he announced 33%, now all of the people I went on to this 67. Subconsciously, now if you think of CSAT 67 marks, that's it. Correct? Subconsciously it will come. That means somewhere your aim has become 67 marks only. You agree it or not, subconsciously you have framed that. 67 is my aim. Okay, now any human being, average human being, even if you take very brilliant, intelligent also, that person will not have 100% productivity. Correct? Aiming 67, in reality, you'll get less than 67 only, for sure. Why? Because human mind or the character is like that. Let's say you aim for finishing of one book today. At the end, you will not even finish half of it. Correct? At least, let's say 67-70% you will complete, not full. Because there will be distractions, there will be a number of things. So this has become a major mental, a block for you. Most of the students' aim has become 67 marks. No, you should aim more than 120, so that at least you will get 100, 90. Correct? So this is the first mental attitude you should build for CSAT. Okay. So I'll also take some of the CSAT classes also, which includes important chapters that we'll discuss. And another thing is, in CSAT, strategy is also important. Which part you will attempt first? Which part you attempt last? For that also you should have clarity. I say, for example, most of the non-math background students, usually they rely on reading comprehension. Or even engineering students or science students, they also have fear about maths. So they also attempt reading comprehension first. The problem with reading comprehension is, for example, you have a reading passage. Initially, at least for let's say 40 minutes or 1 hour, you will have more time. Like you will not feel that time is passing by. You read a passage once, your mind thinks I have time. You read another time, because you're not getting the correct answer, or you're not feeling that satisfaction. You'll read another time. You'll read another time to get the clarity. For at least starting 10 passages, you'll read twice or sometimes thrice also, where you waste time. That is one thing. And when you read a passage, 2 to 3 times, you start overthinking. Sometimes answer is also wrong and you have wasted time. That is the tricky part with passages. Okay. So my suggestion is you have to attempt reading comprehension at last. And don't neglect any part, whether it is your math part, or I call general mental ability or math part, reasoning part, and reading comprehension part. You have to attempt questions from all the parts. And another thing is in CSAT, this skill you have to learn which are the questions which are easy and less time consuming to solve. This you have to understand when you see the question. Because especially in CSAT, math part, what happens? You stick to one question. You waste time. You're not getting answer. You waste 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. Why? Because you think that I have practiced this chapter. It's not coming. The answer is not coming. So your ego will be hurt there. How I am not getting? You waste time there. If at least 2 to 3 questions like that happens, you waste time and tension starts to build in your mind. So most of the students, after especially last two years, I've met like so many students have come to me after CSAT. So I could attempt only 27, 28, 30, 32. It's only because you have kept your ego ahead of you. For that, you have to be neutral. Try to pick the questions which are easy and less time consuming. For example, I have a very small passage. Is it visible? No? Okay. So just see once, and in reading comprehension, you have a certain formula that people say. There will not be words like should, all that. But I believe in passage, only thing you have to look for is the tone of the author. Tone. So now try to see this and tell me what is the kind of tone that he is saying through the passage. Talks about qualification. Okay. Done with reading. Now he's asking which like best reflects the message of the author. What he is saying. Here saying we assume that any politician is qualified to administer a state. No, he's not saying that. See here, he's saying like in every field we try to see trained ones, the best minds who have efficiency. Correct. But in politics, he's asking when the whole state is ill, should we not look for the service and guidance of the wisest and the best? Should. See, he's using the word should. That means his tone is very assertive. Correct. He's not saying it very gently. He's assertive, correct? He's saying that in every field we are doing this. In this field also, he's asking a question. Correct. That means he's expecting us we should do this. Correct. So politicians should be selected from those trained in administration. That is what he's saying. He's assertive about that. But last time what happened? Most of these hacks that people usually say, so they say when you see should, all these things in passage, it is wrong. Even the answer is not out yet, official answer, but my belief is in passage, you should try to understand what is the tone of the author. For example, a person who believes in right-wing ideology, he talks about very assertively about some things, right? So passage means it will have n number of perspectives. Everyone will not be talking very gently. Correct. And if it is like when you sit in exam hall, try to read this, try to get the tone of the passage, and try to select accordingly. which is sensible to you. Even what I say about all these skills about prelims in GS or CSAT, you should only take it when it makes sense to you. Don't just take it just as sir is saying that, oh, this will be right. No, never in life. Don't take whatever even your prime minister is saying. Don't take it. This is the only thing that you have learned when you come to UPSC, for sure. When you come to UPSC field, when you're leaving, you should increase the horizon of your rationality. That is the purpose. Here also, don't be blind. Whatever that I say, you try to analyze it. If it makes sense to you, take it. Okay, this is a percentage question. See, certain questions in certain chapters, you have to, when you see the question, you have to see whether it is easy or not. For that, you need knowledge of a particular chapter also. Like, what do you mean by percentage? How do you represent it? So you should know those basics. Based on that, try to grasp whether it is an easy question or not. I just put two questions. So in CSAT, the main key is don't hurt your ego. Even if you are, for example, some people will be very attached to some topics, percentages. If you are from commerce background, you love these kind of topics. Some questions will be difficult, or some questions will be easy but more time consuming. Don't choose those questions at the initial period. Leave it. So only thing is you have to score more than 100. No need to get even 200 also. No need. Why? Only 100 is enough. More than 100. So, and some of the people, when you met me in the last week, some people are mentioning about perfection. So here people will look for that perfection. I need to perfect this. I need to perfect, okay, let's say you take a chapter. I need to like perfect everything here. Don't look for perfection. That's why even your cutoff is less than 50%. It's not somewhere 80-90%. Do the things consistently with average efforts. But consistency is very important. Okay, now, so what is a broad perspective that you have got today? At least awareness. I'm not saying maybe you haven't understood completely. Awareness. Do you agree that you are focusing mainly on knowledge, not on skills? Most of you? Okay. So focus on skills part, and especially with that skills part, you build your good attitude about the exam or UPSC. That is the main factor which contributes to more than 60-70% of your success. Because when at least an average person, when he spends 1 year in UPSC, he will have the basic knowledge part. Correct. So all those people are writing the exam. Then there is something which you should improve. That is your attitude. That attitude comes with skills. Okay. Yeah. So strong mental attitude is the key, and create your own strategies. That's what I'm saying. Don't believe in me. Don't just believe what I say. Create your own strategies based on your strengths and weaknesses. Because every individual has strengths and weaknesses. For some people, economy will be very difficult. For some people, history will be difficult. For some people, like CSAT will be easy. GS will be difficult. For some people, the other way. So every individual human being is very different. That's why don't compare with others. If you're comparing with others, you are making a fool out of yourself. At the end, especially for prelims, out of 10 lakh people who apply for prelims, 10,000 people will clear. That means 1%. That means 1 in 100. So you have to be unique. You have to get your own strategies. That makes you unique. Okay. Any questions? Any questions or any issues that you are facing, or the common issues that you observe in UPSC field? No question. Yes. Previous year question papers. See, previous year question papers, with those analysis, you try to understand what is UPSC and how you build your attitude about the exam. So when you solve institute paper, for example, in this program, every Sunday you will have the test. There, your purpose of writing the test should be, you should have clarity about that. You are not testing these skills that you learn in institute paper. No, that is a blunder. Everyone does that. So whatever the skills that you understand here, even though, let's say, any institute try to grasp the pulse of UPSC and set the question paper like that, UPSC will change the pattern again. Because I have heard from a recent conversation with my senior who is in the administration field, he said they have the research team now. At least in the last 4 or 5 years, they have the research team about every stage of exam. They are doing all the research, like taking all the institute material and all, so that they are just removing all that from the exam questions. That's why you don't find direct questions from any institute current affairs nowadays. They are also observing what these, especially UPSC has this main ideology that any person who is sitting in the remotest part of India, he should clear this exam. So people who are from at least the rural background, they will not go to the institute. So UPSC makes sure that he will burn the background or the backbone of institutes. He doesn't give what is asking in the institute question paper broadly. So that's why he has a research team. So he looks all the main magazines or the main PDFs of all the good or the major institutes. Okay, so you have to make sure that you have the concept clarity, and that's why don't read too much of things also. Even current affairs also, don't read too much. He will leave some hint. Only thing is you have to find that hint or decode it. Okay. So did I answer your question? What was your question? The clarity should be there. When you're writing any institute paper, you are just testing your knowledge. That's it. You are reading whether you are able to recall that or not. Factual things like you learn from question papers solutions also. So that should be your routine. Don't try to implement all these skills and get disheartened. No, whatever the sir is saying, it's not applicable here. Definitely, whatever the question paper people will set, it will be different from UPSC only. Any other questions or doubts? Polity and economics, what's your suggestion? Okay, so see, the topic was, or the subject wise, I'll have the individual strategy sessions or the analysis of previous year questions. But mainly for any subject, whether it is polity or economics, just refer only one source. That is very important. And based on previous year questions, what are the topics that are important to UPSC? For example, in history, every year 1 or 2 questions are on Buddhism and Jainism will come. So you have to read that and into little bit depth also. Correct. And they'll have question on, for example, basic concept like inflation, or somewhere of the same concepts. Somewhere or other he will ask every year. So you have to analyze like that, and you have to prioritize the topics in every topic or subject and read accordingly. Okay, then okay, fine. So 20th, this Friday, so the program will start on 20th. So I will start with strategy session, where okay, we'll discuss what will be there in this course completely and how I will be doing. I'll also share more in-depth strategies on Friday at 5 p.m. Okay, the subject classes will start from Monday, 23rd. I'm starting with geography subject. So I'm doing like this: 1 week, 1 subject. Okay, so you will also finish off 1 week on subject. Along with it, at least if you have not completed your optional for mains part, you have to focus on optional in January and February, at least mid of February. And by mid of March, you will complete 1 complete GS cycle. You'll revise everything. So again, from mid of March to, let's say, till the exam, you have to again complete 2 cycles of revision. Minimum for GS, you should have 3 cycles of revision. Current affairs at least 4 to 5 times. Because current affairs is more of factual things. You have to revise a lot to remember those things. So minimum 3 times of revision for GS subjects, at least 4 times for current affairs. And the program includes your static subjects also, current affairs also, unconventional topics also. I've also included agriculture as a separate subject, because nowadays they're asking questions from particularly agriculture subject. Okay. Any other questions or doubts you have? Nothing? Okay. Huh? CSAT also you have classes. I kept it in I think March and April. But parallelly, whatever the topic that you can do for CSAT, we'll discuss in the individual mentorship sessions. You have 2 weeks classes for CSAT also. So class timings will be from Monday, it will be 3 to 6 p.m. So I'm usually keeping it in the afternoon, 3 to 6, 3 hours, 1.5 hour and 1.5 hour. So this is, make sure that in the afternoon, usually the students' productivity will be less. So I want to use that time for the class timings so that you can read properly in the morning. And the classes will be on alternate days, Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Test will be on Sunday. Every week, this is the pattern. Okay, all the best. Thank you.